Hey guys, about NVVE. So much stuff happens today. Just gonna only talk about this trade. Both my trades worked, and they both follow a pattern. It's so rare you get two moves. I mean, probably the biggest potential long move, the market open long, and then a super hyper aggressive long trap clear out. Right? Like, not only did we get both moves, but they both worked. So, super rare, man. Just so rare you get. I didn't make a mistake covering here. Actually, I made a lot of mistakes covering, but yeah, this was an amazing trade. So much to talk about. I mean, it's really two trades. What does a good market open long, and what does a good short look like, right? So, what do we know about this week? This week is getting way stronger. There's MLGO, more range. We're getting more range in the pre-market, more volume. Low floats above $2 are now ripping. They were quiet, man. I was telling my room. So I was telling my Discord. I'm going to share you, what I was talking live about NVVE, right? Because we note the change in market conditions, right? Just low floats over two, pushing a lot better. Things are pushed with range, and now low floats are kind of waking up again. It was Penny's turn for a couple weeks. Low floats were taking the back seat, and now pennies are coming. Now low floats are coming, right? So I was like, man, there's these, MLGO won a massive run, bunch of liquidity. I see a bunch of stuff popping in the pre-market. But I was telling my Discord, I'm like, man, in this market, it's the bottomed out names that have the most potential, right? It's like you can have bullish looking setups on trades like ASNS and MITQ, and it's a strong. It's kind of the beginning of the strong market and low floats. So there's anything has kind of potential to push, but I'm like, you always want to look at the most bottomed out names, man. Like I was talking, for example, here's me talking in the beginning, right? So I note the quick pre-market pop and drop. Like, what is this, right? If you've been watching my market open long videos, you've seen me talk about this, right? If we go to it's this in the pre-market. When something pops, and we saw this on like Lucy Day One did this, MMTS did this. There's a bunch of tickers that did this. That it's a common pattern, especially penny stocks are going massive runs too. You get a quick pre-market pop. I like it when it's a decent amount of volume. I like it when it's like 500,000 to 1,000,000 shares a minute, and then instantly rejects, right? Instantly gets shoved back down. Not a lot of consolidation, not a lot of longs, retail longs getting trapped at higher averages that now the stock has to push through to reach new highs. That's why a lot of these, bottomed out names, on tickers that already ran 100%, 200%, 300%. Now, in a stronger market, a stock can't pop 100%, come back down and push. But, once you start getting what stocks, a lot of these stocks in the pre-market are going on like 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 200% parabolic runs, and they start to pull back. Those tend to not be as good, man. Those are definitely not as good. And NVVE is good. And I thought SYTA was good, but SYTA had the problem where the book at Market Open had about, 10 layers of ass stacked above it. And I don't like that for the Market Open long. I covered that last week in a few videos about what you want to see on market open longs on the book to kind of assuming it has a nice structure, nice volume, this and that, like what you want to see on the book to potentially go in or to completely avoid. And I find that completely avoiding the ones that have 10 layers of ass stacked super high is a good idea, because either it doesn't push at all or it pushes a little bit into the gasket, then it pulls. So those are the two most likely scenarios. This was better. So call that out, and then this is right before. So I'm Central Time Zone, so you have to add an hour to this. But I said, hey, I think NVVE and SYTA have the most potential for market open longs, and I also said I like that NVVE is pulling back here. So NVVE actually did this little like pop at 920, 915, and I don't like that. Actually, I don't want this to start rotating before market open, because usually what happens is they'll do what BNAI did is it'll like push it and knife, and it's like the market open long becomes harder to read. The market open long's great, but it's already opening near its lows, right? So I was like, I like that it's rejecting here. It's one of those counterintuitive things. Where it's like, this is too early in the move to really work. In fact, if this kept working again, like the odds are it comes back down. The counterintuitive thing is the fact that this got rejected right at VWAP makes it stronger, right? It's just one of those, just one of those ways the market open long works, you know. Painted VWAP resistances opening near the lows, and then right at market open we had the 1 minute 200, right? That's always a great MA. 1 minute 200 is awesome, right? In the right context, right? You can't just blindly trust the 1 minute 200 in whatever you want, but in this context where you have you had a nice pre-market pop, 500,000 shares, got pulled down. This push got rejected. That's nice to see. Now, and adding up all these factors, any bids showing up on the 1 minute 200 and any follow-up bids, especially if volume starts to pick up, is very bullish. It's a super. It's just like I saw this, and then we'll see the bid follow-up. This had amazing. This is kind of like my MGRX trade, which was my last big market open long I did. A lot of the same. This was a penny stock that actually had a cleaner book map compared to some other penny stocks that do not have cleaner book maps. But yeah, we'll go to the TOS charts super quickly. Here's this 920 pop that got rejected. This is trading 500,000 shares a minute on the dump. Super nice. Here's 1 minute 200. Super nice. And like I said, market open, you actually don't want like instant green candles. You really want like a 930, 931, 932 green. Like sometimes you get plays like MRAN a couple days ago where it does go straight up. Super rare. What's more likely to happen when stocks start trading market open green candles is a lot of pushes tend to fail. Like especially if they go straight to high day, those could fail. Or they just tend to have a lack of bids and they knife. So it's like it's great to see the knife out of market open. Because I was looking at all these names. I was looking at SYTA. I was looking at this. I was looking at MITQ. I was looking at a bunch of different kind of walk down names. And a lot of them were knifing. But what I was noting was, well, what does the book look like? And where are they knifing to? Is there any obvious support levels? And I thought NVVE. I thought the fact that it was knifing to the 1 minute 200. I was like, I got to pay attention to this. Like the market open volume wasn't amazing, but I thought this had the most potential because if we go to the book, ASNS, I didn't trade that thing at all. Literally did not trade that thing all day for a bunch of reasons that would take too long to explain. But yeah, so here's 1 minute 200. Nice bid support, holding those bids, right? This was at a 68. And then when it started rotating, I put a little on just because the 1 minute 200 was sold. I was like, man, like let me just throw some on because my risk is so tight on this and I don't have to do my full position. And then, oh man, just bid follow up, I longed on this mini knife. I longed on all these bids following it up, longed on this little knife right before it rotated. And I was like, this thing has such huge potential because there's so much liquidity coming back into these higher, this is a penny stocks, but they're coming back into names and they're having more range. I was like, this is, 1 minute 200 bounce and rip. Like, and at this point, the volume started trading like, I don't even know. It went from like 200K and then even on just this one push, like right here, started trading like 800K, 1 million. It was like the volume really stood out as a, what do you call it? As a bullish factor, the increasing volume. Where the fuck is my where's my fucking thinkorswim? Somewhere. You over here? No, you over here? Okay. Oh yeah, 680, 890, 1.2. Like it was. I saw the 680 come in. I was like, okay. I was like, I saw the volume and the bits come in. I'm like, this structure is amazing. Like it's an amazing market open long structure. Yeah, so many quick pre-market pop and dumps, and I just didn't have the vision to hold for the whole move. But I was selling in the key liquidity levels like I always do. And then at the top, me and people in my shorts in my trading room were like, hey, I'm I was like, I wonder if they're going to start down halting this because we have tight halt band manipulation, right? So we had like 1 up halt, 2 up halt, 3 up halts. I was like, they'll probably start to down halt it, but the down halts could be super trappy, right? Don't chase down halts. Chasing down halts is for noobs, like that type of thing. So one interesting thing that happened was this candle. This candle was almost instantaneous, right? And we called this out right away. It's like, we've had tickers in the past. These, when the market's stronger and you got a bunch of volume coming into stocks, and it's kind of in the beginning of its parabolic move. So this is usually near market open. We've seen these instant down halts be very bullish, right? Because the idea is the market maker's not letting anyone get filled here. Because it unhalted, and then it was like, I could go to the book map. I'll actually show you how fast it down halted. So we go over here. When was that? It was over here, right? Look how fast this was. You gotta zoom way in. I'll tell you, it was under 1 second. Under 1 second. That's how long this was unhalted for before down halted. So it's like, the instantaneous down halt. I was like, I've been tracking this. It's not a pattern, but it's a potential bullish factor that's worth thinking about, right? So I was telling my rooms, like, I'm going to pay attention to the reaction on this. And then I told him in my Word document, where do I put my Word document? Dude, there's like too many things on my screen. Yeah. So I said instant downhaul could be super trappy, right? Here's me posting the bid follow-up of the market open move. But I was like, off the 1 minute 200, here's the bids. But I was like, instant down halt. So I'm going to track that. I'm going to track to see if the instant down halt is a potential bullish factor. Because if you look at this chart, you always got to think about where are retail shorts likely to try to pile in, right? And really, this is the first kind of, most retail shorts aren't hitting this because it's too fast and too quick. Some people do, but overall, they're seeing a massive pre-market squeeze, and this is the first move the vast majority of shorts are trying to participate in, right? When it gets up here, so you just got to think about, like, man, where does retail want to hit? They're going to hit into the fake down haul, right? I mean, it's a real down haul, but it's a fake breakdown, right? So we get 1 down halt, you get 2. And shout out to Mike Pidgeot in my room. He called this out. He called the double down halt squeeze, and I said, hey, look at the 1 minute 20 and $1.20, right? That's the key level. It's like a lot of times you get down halts to the 1 minute 20. It soaks on the 1 minute 20. And then rotates back up, and that's exactly what happened here, right? We got the first down halt, we got the second down halt. Here's the 1 minute 20. Here's 1.2. Knifes it a little bit, rotates it back up for the high day squeeze. And we were watching it the whole time. They're like, yeah, this is exactly how tight halt band manipulation works in a slightly stronger market. But I'm paying attention to this move, right? Because it's nothing but higher lows. So there's always a chance these higher lows if you just see something like this. And not only that, after it swiped high day, it topped out relatively fast, which on heavily manipulated moves could be a sign that the top is in, or the top is close to being in. When you trap retail shorts on like the fake weakness, you squeeze them and then you dump it, right? It's one extra liquidity level based on a retail trap that they go after, then they pull, right? So it's like, that's why I sold down here. I sold the rest of my long down here. I was like, okay, guys, I think it's worth it to have a bearish bias on this, right? Have a bearish bias on the play. And I was looking for trades. I saw this move off the 1 minute 50 right here, this 1047. It did the dip and rip. And I'm like, oh man, if this could push like 1.6s, like do some crazy fake 5 minute flag move where it's like dip, rip up the 1.6, I would have shorted 1.6. I was like, I'll just be, but then it didn't go up that high. So I was like, man, like it swiped 150, got back into the 140s. I'm like, do I really want to get an average all the way down here? I was like, nah, I'll just wait. Just focus on something else. And then it did what ALBT did, back on Monday. This highly symmetrical walk down, these midday walk downs can be so bullish. So bullish for a potential rotation later, right? You have to view this again. We're past the market open liquidity. You got to start expanding the range on how plays develop, right? So instead of looking at every 1 minute candle, midday, what you're really looking at is the overall structure over the course of an hour, 2 hours, whatever time frame. I would say at least half an hour. If I see this midday pullback, I'm paying attention at the key moments. Like this moment, I'm paying attention here. Doesn't really do what I want it to do. And then it starts to pull back, and I go, okay, I'll see where it is, and I'll come back in 10 minutes, see where it's at. I don't have to watch every 1 minute candle on this thing. You could put alerts, and, I casually glance at it in the corner of my screen, and then I just don't do anything until something happens. And then, controlled walk down, pops back up to VWAP, a bunch of fake VWAPs. Some classic fake VWAPs. It's like in a strong market, if the market maker gives you time if it gives you this much time to enter, I'm always worried of that. I'm always worried that the market maker's making it too easy to short this. You know what I mean? It's so easy to build a position. This is like 15 minutes of straight rejecting VWAP with no push. Pretty funny. And then they do a dip and rip. And then here, after this uphalted, I was like, oh, hey guys. I was like, I said that was a sick walk down. I'm talking about the midday walk down. I was like, that was a really tightly controlled walk down. It was really interesting to watch. And then I said, hey, during the uphalt, I said possible uphalt long trap would be the bearish setup, because you got to think if we're getting a hyper aggressive move on an extended stock, we know that the more aggressive something pushes towards a key liquidity level, the more bearish it can be, considering the up-only extension that it had earlier, right? That's why I said it's worth it to be bearish bias, because of how crazy extended and crazy aggressive this move was, right? So I was like, what would the liquidity move be for something like this? If you're going to be bearish, taking what you know about long traps, what's the move? And the move is, swiping all the lower highs, getting really close to high day, and pulling it. And I was like, and doing it with an uphalt. Again, do it with something everyone thinks is so, flip this upside down. Down halt, long, because it's manipulated, still, catching some retail shorts here. Uphalt, short. You know what I mean? They're just abusing the tight halt bands to make aggressive moves, to target key liquidity levels, to trap people, get people to chase long, get people to chase short, whatever, whatever. And I was like, I told my room, I was like, I have to take it. I just had to take the short. Just had to take it. I was like, no way. I was like, no way I can't take that, man. That was a ridiculous play. So yeah, man. So that's my whole trade. We can look at the book. There was some interesting book stuff on this. For example, market open. All right, bids, 1 minute 200. Super nice. The volume was there, so I wasn't even looking at the book on most of this price action. I was like, high volatility, sell into strength, that type of thing. And then let's go to the long trap later. So it got walked down. That's a crazy move. Oh yeah, this got very penny bookish. I was mostly looking at these ass up here. I was like, okay, high day's 173, got 170, got 172. I do like that there's a lot of ass stacked up here. So at least I got some large orders that would hopefully prevent an uphalt, prevent me getting squeezed, or at least would let me get out without too much slippage. So that was nice to see. And yeah, I saw it struggling a lot. I went in here when it was it unhalted, it pushed, which I like to see, because the closer it gets to high day, the better. And then I went in kind of early, got kind of crazy, but then luckily it all worked out. And then yeah, there's nothing really else here, right? This was a very penny kind of book, but yeah, it was nice to kind of shove this thing down. Super controlled. Here's the final trade. So market open long, 1 minute 200. Oh yeah, let me show you SYTA. I do want to show you this little bonus section, why this is not a good market open long. This is the book at market open. These are the asks. This is like the one bid holding it up. You know what I mean? And it pushed right away. I don't like to see pushes right away, like I said. Or if it does push, I like to see a knife into bids. It did actually have some down here, but I thought the book was too bearish to the upside. And then what did they do? What did they do here? What did they end up doing? They ended up painting a level. They filled the painted level with no bid follow up, and they pulled it. I shorted this. It's my other chart. I don't know if I'm gonna make a video on SYTA, but yeah, I called this out too in my Discord. I was like, oh, they're probably building liquidity, nicely painted higher lows to fill these asks, no bids, painted level, just to what is it, 220, 222, whatever it was, and yeah, nice. But yeah, you do not want to see a book like this at market open. This book sucks. I was very bullish because I was like, oh, there's a bunch of lower highs. It's only up like 30. It's only up like 40%. I was like, it has potential. And then I saw the book and I was like, I at literally 9:30, I was like, ew. I was like, let me go look at something else. And then I noticed NVVE had bids at the open, which was nice. And I was just pulling back in the bigger bids down here with empty space at upside. Really, anything above 86 was pretty empty. This was nice. See, much better. Much emptier. Much like bigger air pockets. Big air pockets for this to rotate into. This is great. Yeah, there's always going to be some orders. It's not like there's not going to be any orders, but much better. Much, much better. And then all the other names were too extended, man. MITQ, I had a small hope, but I was like, I was like, I'll keep an eye on it. But overall, the less extended, the better. So anyways, that's it for today. NVVE. If you want to join the Discord, there's information down below in the description. So go ahead. And yeah, I don't give call out. I don't give alerts. I don't be like, hey, I don't have some bot like posting my entries and stuff. But it's more for education. But we do talk about this. So we talk a lot about price action. And we try to analyze structure and analyze market conditions and volume and, try to make good reads. So that's what it's about. So anyways, here for today. You guys have a good one, and see you tomorrow.